everyone! So today I am here with a new video for you, and I'm going to be doing the my first time tag. I think that's what it's called. The first time I saw this like going around on YouTube, I was like, who thought that was YouTube appropriate? But then I watched it and I understood. So I have my computer right here in front of me, so I'm going to be reading the questions and answering. So I'll just go ahead and get started. These are like the first time you did whatever. Okay. First tweet. I've got no idea, and can you even look that up? I've tried to like reread my tweets sometimes, and it's like they just time out after a certain period of time. I can't get to them. Maybe that's because I have too many tweets. I don't know. So I'm already failing at this video because I don't know what my first tweet was. What was your first YouTube video? My first YouTube video was a how to the perfect nude lip, which is so embarrassing. That video is gone off my computer, off YouTube. I kind of wish I had saved it just so I could like post it and everyone could make fun of me because it was so awkward. But yeah, it was how to the perfect nude lip. And I don't even remember what products I used. Like, what did I like back then? I don't know. First person you subscribed to on YouTube, that would have to be Juicy Star 007 or whatever her name is. I'm not even subscribed to her anymore, honestly, because I don't know. I like to watch people that I feel like I can relate to, and she just got to the point where I could not relate to her at all anymore. And Julie G was one of the first ones that I started watching and subscribed to too. Oh, and Candy Johnson. Candy Johnson was one of the first also. First Facebook profile pic. I will enter that right here. Do you still talk to your first love? Let's think about my first love. Okay, like realistic first love would have been my freshman year of high school, and no, I don't. He broke my heart. And let's see, my first love, Stefan always talks about my first love, was in kindergarten. He was like my best friend, and he was so good too. Like, I was a really good student and never spoke unless spoken to, and he was the same way, so we got along so well, and he was like my best friend, and I think he might have been my first love, even though I didn't understand what a crush was back then. He was probably my first crush. What was your first alcoholic drink? My first alcoholic drink probably would have been some sort of wine. It would have been, oh shoot. Before I was 21, I did have wine on Christmas with my parents. We had a glass of wine. Not even a glass, it's the kind of Christmas wine where we can't even get it anymore, I don't think, but you would have to warm it up, and my mom would give us these little teacups, and we'd like sit before we got to open one gift on Christmas Eve and have a little teacup of wine, hot wine. So that was probably my first alcoholic drink. My first legal drink that I actually ordered would have been a margarita. What was your first job? My first job, besides like babysitting and stuff, was a busser. I was a busser at Perkins Pancake House. Then I moved to hostess, and I was there for 3 years, I think. And then they tried to get me to serve, and I didn't like it, and then I continued to be a hostess cashier. But I started out as a busser and moved my way up. And then eventually I ended up working at a different Perkins Pancake House with some of the girls that I had worked with before, which was pretty cool. What was your first car? The first car that I like drove once I got my license was a Honda Civic. It was my grandpa's, and my dad bought it off of him for us to kind of drive, so I shared it with my brother. I mean, it wasn't really either of ours, but then after, was it my first year of college, I think, I bought my own car, and I drive a 2010, I think, Ford Focus. It's gray with chrome handles, which I love. Who was the first person to text you today? I guess Stefan. Probably Stefan. The first person you thought of this morning? Probably Stefan. Or maybe the dog, because she wakes me up. Who was your first grade teacher? My first grade teacher, her name was Mrs. Von Camp. I was scared of her, just like I was scared of most of my teachers. I was in a bad class, and they were just so bad, and we'd get like yelled at all the time, but I would never do anything bad, and so I like hated getting yelled at because it wasn't my fault. Where did you go on your first ride on an airplane? Well, you see, I'm scared of flying, so I have never been on an airplane. I feel like the first time I fly in a plane will be to Las Vegas to visit Stefan's sister and her husband and our nephew. Who was your first best friend and do you still talk? My first best friend, I think I already mentioned him. I mean, we're Facebook friends and like we'll kind of talk a little bit. No, I don't really talk to any of my first best friends. He was one of my first best friends. Then I had a friend named Megan who was one of my first best friends, and then she moved to Michigan, so we didn't talk anymore. I had a best friend named Jasmine, and she moved to Pennsylvania, so we didn't talk anymore. I had really bad luck with my best friends moving away. Where was your first sleepover? My first actual sleepover with friends was probably at my own house because my mom was pretty protective and I was a homebody, so I didn't really like to go to other people's houses. But other than that, it was probably my friend Megan. I remember staying over at her house. What was the first thing you did this morning? The first thing I did was snooze my alarm, and then I checked to see if there was a 2-hour delay. And then I rolled over and cuddled up to Stefan for a while because I knew it was going to be cold when I got out of bed. What was the first concert you ever went to? The first concert I ever went to was with Stefan and his parents. And it was a Kenny Loggins concert, which is so funny because Kenny Loggins is so old school and not many people would go to a Kenny Loggins concert, but it was so fun. It was small and it was awesome. First broken bone would be my ankle. That's the only bone I've ever broken, and we still don't know how I broke it, when I broke it, nothing. We just, one day it was broken after months of hurting. So yeah. First piercing, that would be my first and only piercings, just my ears. And I got my ears pierced when I was 17. First foreign country you've gone to. The only other country I've ever been to is Canada. Again, I don't fly, so Canada is about, Mexico, I guess. You could drive to Mexico, but Canada. First movie you remember seeing. I'm pretty sure I remember seeing Lion King. I think that's probably my first memory of a movie. When was your first detention? I've never had a detention in my life. Never even had my name on the board. Nothing like that. Like I said, I was a good kid, so I never got in trouble. Who was your first roommate? Well, you see, I didn't go away to school. I went to a branch of a university that was right in my town, so I just lived at home, saved money, so I never had to deal with a roommate, unless you consider Stefan my roommate. If you had one wish, what would it be? I'm not really sure how that is a first, but if I had one wish, if I could have one wish, I guess that I would wish for myself and all of my friends and family, basically everyone that I love, to be taken care of. Just to never have to worry about health, money, anything like that. And also that they'd be taken care of in the next life. That's one thing that I can't think about it. What was the first sport that you were involved in? The first sport I was involved in would have been t-ball. I was in t-ball. The first thing you do when you get home, the first thing I do is give my puppy lots of love. When was your first kiss? My first kiss was, I was a junior in high school, and I was almost 17 years old. Literally a month before I turned 17 was my first kiss. And it was awkward, and yeah. Alright, so that is it for all the questions, I think, for the My First Time tag. I hope that you guys learned something new about me and that you found this entertaining. I feel like none of my answers were extraordinary. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you in my next one. Bye!